Coming up on Mountain News this morning, officers in Pikeville are investigating a donation jar theft caught on surveillance camera. And we learned that 6 more horses have been found dead in Floyd County, bringing the total killed to 21 as the reward for information continues to climb. Plus, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has turned down an offer from President Trump's administration to halt refugee resettlement.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:34 on this Monday, December the 23rd. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News This Morning. I'm Will Puckett. Madison is off on vacation until the day after Christmas, but Brandon's in here. He takes his tomorrow and Christmas Day, but let's bring him in before we let him go. And Brandon, we said it all last week. We're going to say it again today. It's going to be warm this Christmas. It's not really going to feel like winter at all over the next couple of days, but we got some clouds hanging on that might mess with those temps a little bit.
Yeah, today especially. So let's take a look and see what we're dealing with so far this morning on the satellite and radar loop. But again, the pesky clouds are hanging around this morning, and a couple of stray showers down to the south as well. You see those near the Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia borders, and still kind of churning there, but starting to back off just a little bit this morning. Clouds still firmly in place for most of us there outside WYMT. Fairly quiet as we start this Monday morning, but it is a Monday morning. A lot of folks still working today before the big break for the holidays. Some folks don't get the holiday off, so salute to you all who have to work on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. 28 in Ashland right now, 33 in Irvin, 37 Prestonsburg, 38 in Hazard. Everybody else in the 40s with the exception of Wise at 50. Your 12-hour planner, we are going to see some warm up today, especially if we get those clouds out of here, give way to some sunshine. 60 if that happens. If we keep the clouds around longer, mid to upper 50s regardless, still well above average at this time for this time of the year. I'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, 4 people were arrested in Laurel County Sunday morning after reports of gunshots being fired outside of London. When police arrived, they learned that a man had been shot with a pistol in the chest. The man was identified as Michael Bailey of East Bernstadt. He was flown to UK Hospital in Lexington for treatment and was later pronounced dead. During the investigation, it was found that several people were convicted felons. Douglas Bailey, Crystal Johnson, James Hart, and Dwayne Bailey were all taken in by the Laurel County Sheriff's Office. All 4 were sent to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Meanwhile, one Kentucky man rescued from high water on Friday is now in jail. Deputies say the man on the van in this video is Joseph Cox, and he had a warrant out for his arrest. Deputies say there were 2 other people in the van, but they got away. There is not an active search for those people at this time. Officers with the Pikeville Police Department are investigating a donation jar theft caught on surveillance camera. It happened Thursday inside a Taco Bell. You can see a man take the jar and slip it into the front of his pants. Officials believe they have identified the man in this video as Jeremiah Vance. Officer Joseph Sloan says this type of crime is heartbreaking, but it hits even harder at this time of the year.
But in the same sense, when you see this type of behavior on video that's in blatant view, you kind of have to see that they put themselves in a situation and they have to face the consequences.
Officials believe the donation jar was for an employee's child. Anyone with information can contact the Pikeville Police Department at 606-437-6236. You can remain anonymous. Last week, we reported on an investigation into the shooting of 15 horses in Floyd County. We warned you some of the images you see will be graphic. Yesterday, we learned from Dumas Rescue that 6 more horses were found dead, bringing the number of horses killed up to 21. Police do not believe this is a new incident, saying they think the horses were killed around the same time as the other 15. The reward for information in the shooting has now reached $20,000. If you have any information, you can call the Sheriff's Office at 606-886-6171. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources are investigating after a bald eagle has died from a gunshot wound in Lawrence County Saturday. According to a Facebook post from the Indiana DNR, Sunday morning, the bald eagle was found alive on Saturday with the gunshot wound, but later died due to the injury. Killing a bald eagle is punishable under the Federal Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act Anyone with information is asked to call the Indiana Conservation Officer Central Dispatch at 812-837-9536 or their anonymous tip line at 1-800-847-4367. Just in time for the holidays, flu season is in full swing. The CDC says the infection has already killed 1,800 people since the official season began in late September. It has sickened nearly 4 million others and sent 32,000 to the hospital. Not only is flu season striking faster and earlier than usual, it's also bringing on an odd mix of viruses. The CDC does not expect new cases to slow down anytime soon, and it's not too late to get a flu shot. Pikeville first responders work together daily. However, Saturday morning, they joined forces for a different cause. The annual Shop with the First Responder began with Mr. and Mrs. Claus giving out bags of toys and clothing. Each first responder spent $250 per child. Pikeville Police Chief Chris Edmonds says without the community, none of this would be possible.
To be able to do $250 for 35 kids takes a lot of money. And fortunately, we have a strong community that makes that happen.
McDonald's provided a free hot breakfast. More than 30 kids walked away with a bag plus a Christmas meal box equipped with a turkey. Organizers say they hope to reach out and help even more families during next year's event. One Central Kentucky hip-hop artist holds his youth coat drive every year. This year is the 6th year that Devane Karama has been doing this drive, and he spent his weekend delivering them to places across the Commonwealth. In total, this year's coat drive saw around 3,000 coats being delivered to folks around Kentucky, including 500 right here in eastern Kentucky.
Got a U-Haul van, loaded up about 500 coats, went to Pineville, went to Hazard. Hopefully the goal is to go statewide with it one day and just collaborate with people all over the state and just continue to watch this thing grow.
Karama and other volunteers will also be traveling through parts of eastern Kentucky later today in order to deliver the rest of the coats to those who need them. Sunday was the first night of Hanukkah, and in Louisville, Governor Andy Beshear and Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher took part in the lighting of the first candle of the menorah. The 8-day festival commemorates a victory by outnumbered Jewish forces over Syrian occupation and the reclaiming of the Second Temple of Jerusalem in the 2nd century BC. It also symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness and of democracy over tyranny.
Despite the most tragic circumstances, there's always a bright spirit, a bright flame, and always hope.
The event was also the kickoff to Project Friendship, which will help more than 180,000 people across the state by distributing more than $5 million in new clothing and shoes to those in need. Well, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has turned down an offer from President Trump's administration to halt refugee resettlement. The Democratic governor wrote in a letter this week to U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo that Kentucky has accepted refugees for more than 3 decades. Beshear said refugees in several cities have contributed to the workforce and the state's economic development. About half of all U.S. states have consented to keep accepting refugees. These include everywhere from Oregon and California to Utah, Tennessee, and West Virginia.
One more tree picture for you for this time. I have 2 more to show you after this one, but this one is kind of an interesting tree, I thought, because it's literally on the wall. They built a frame and put some garland in there in the lights. As you can see, it's literally on the wall and the tree skirt right there just at the floor. So that was kind of neat. Rebecca, thanks for sending that one in. And listen, I really approve of this stocking right here. It says Brandon, if you can't see that. So listen, I'll be over to collect that a little bit later on. Whitesburg this morning, things are fairly quiet. There's another Christmas tree, City Christmas tree lit up there on Main Street. No major issues weather-wise except for stray showers down to the south this morning. Temperatures climbing though. Middlesboro 49, getting closer to 50 there, 50 in Wise, 44 London, 38 here in Hazard, 37 Prestonsburg, 42 Pikeville, 28 Ashland. Out the door forecast, cloudy this morning. With any luck, we'll see those clouds gradually start to clear as we head toward the afternoon. 60 if we see sunshine, mid to upper 50s if we don't. Will?
All righty, Brandon. Thank you, sir. Well, here is what is coming up on Mountain News this morning. The impeachment process is on pause and will likely remain so until the start of the new year. In the meantime, both sides aren't showing much holiday spirit towards each other either.